this brother with the red shirt. So what do you think about the universe? It just came into existence by itself, or there is a creator?
It's accidentally come into being, or it is created by somebody, or how it makes.
And it has some organized system that
The moon,
created it.
sun, the earth and the sea, this and that. This is accidental, or it is organized and programmed.
I believe it's Big Bang theory.
The Big Bang. The Big Bang.
Yes, the Big Bang.
Actually, before, like in science, before they had two theories, right? The like the perpetual theory, that means everything was always like there, is and will be, right? And the other one is that it had to come from something, and then the Big Bang, like all massed together and then exploded, and then the universe is still expanding, right? So, which one do you think has the scientific verification, evidence? From the two, the perpetual or the Big Bang? Which one has the scientific evidence?
I think maybe from some rocks from the North Pole or the South, they prove that the Earth is created by
the Big Bang, yeah, okay. Yeah, and even I think there's from the telescopes, right? That there is actually evidence that the universe is expanding.
Still expanding.
Yeah, still expanding.
It's okay, no problem. You sit here.
No, just
No
dropping.
problem. Not
No,
disturbing.
No, it's okay.
Nothing.
Very
Why
small
is
sound,
that?
yeah.
Yes, we are part of
That
that.
junior.
Actually, he is
No,
also
nothing.
sharing.
Yes.
Yeah,
Why is that?
actually,
It's not a disturbance. It's just a line. It's
participation.
just a line.
It's not a
內人可以將心多元嘅能力推至極限。
Sorry. There's a video on concept.
Yes. Okay. Now you listen to this is a funny explanation actually.
Because be one. Also, this cause must be uncaused. Because if you read a lot of Richard Dawkins' work or some atheists, one of the outdated philosophical cliches, in my opinion, is that, well, who created God? We hear that all the time. And they think it's a baseball bat against the theists. But it's made of sponge. And let me tell you why. Because we already have understood the absurdity of an infinite regress. Let me bring this to you in a popular sense. If we say, what caused the cause that caused the universe, then let's continue. What caused the cause that caused the cause that caused the universe? Let's continue. Then what caused the cause that caused the cause that caused the cause that caused the universe? Let's carry on. Then what caused the cause that caused the cause that caused the cause that caused? Anybody rapping? I know from Hackney, but I'm very bad at rapping. You know? Move to the group to get your life name, jump on the mic and start to MC. Also, imagine I'm a Marine. And I want to shoot my friend Mohammed, who's filming me at the moment, right? In order for me to shoot, I have to ask permission from the Marine behind me. Can I shoot Mohammed? I have to ask permission too, dude. Can I get permission to give permission to Hamza to shoot Mohammed? I have to ask permission too, dude. And if that goes on forever, will I ever shoot Muhammad? Exactly. So in essence, to claim who created God or what caused the cause of the universe is equivalent of saying that we don't have a universe.
We will just watch 2 minutes video, maybe more, and then we will sit and then we will have a discussion on it. Make it interactive.
This is not working well. Maybe I'll try.
وكذلك أوحينا إليك روحا من أمرنا ما كنت تدري ما الكتاب ولا الإيمان ولكن جعلناه نورا نهدي به من نشاء من عبادنا وإنك لتهدي إلى صراط مستقيم صراط الله الذي له ما في السماوات وما في الأرض ألا إلى الله تصير الأمور.
Assalamualaikum, you're watching the mailbox, and our website's called islammailbox.com. I'm Eustace. We're getting some emails in right now. Okay, this one says, somebody asked me, if Allah created the universe and everything that's in it, then who created Allah? And also, where is Allah? This is the same person sending them. And the first part of that is that we as Muslims immediately say that Allah created everything, the universe and whatever is in it. That's in the Quran many times. But when it comes to Allah, we don't talk about who created Allah, because Allah is the creator. He created everything that exists, and He's without a creator, and He's without a sustainer as well. He doesn't need anything. He's totally independent from this creation that He's created. The way to think about that is that Allah is, as His names indicate, He is Al-Awwal, the first, the beginning, while Al-Akhir, the last or the end. So He's the total epitome of both of those. He's without beginning, without end. He is always and eternal. And one of His names is As-Samad, which is the eternal, that is independent from any of His creation. Creation needs Him, but He doesn't need. Okay, here's another one. Okay, this one is asking.
Do I skip this video?
Okay.
Yes, because the next question is not relevant to me.
Okay, so I'll show the next video.
Yes. These are two scholars from one from America and one from the Europe, and then the third one is from this Indo-Pak subcontinent from India. Brother Arabi knows him very well. Yes, this one.
Mr. Naik, this is myself, Dr. Suryakant Pawar from St. John Hospital. Thanks for the nice and enlightening lecture about the Quran as God's word. As you mentioned that Quran is God's word, I just want to ask you, who is the creator of the God? What is the origin of God?
Brother, that's a very good question. That if Quran is the word of God, who is the creator of God? Very good question. If I ask you, brother, that your friend John, he gave birth to a child. Can you guess the child was girl or a boy? Your friend John gave birth to a child in the hospital. Can you guess whether a girl or a boy? Guess.
No,
Girl or a boy?
I can't guess.
Sorry?
I cannot guess.
Try. At least 50% you get right.
Yeah, 50%, 1/2 chance.
Okay, tell me.
Boy.
Boy. Brother, can a man give birth to a child?
No.
So is it a girl or a boy?
But the name can be followed female.
I'm asking you, your friend John. I don't know anyone children called by John.
No, we can follow.
Okay, suppose a friend with a boy is a man. He went to hospital. He gave birth to a child. Was it a girl or a boy?
Girl.
Even more funny.
Can a man give birth to a child? Brother. Now you understood. A man can't give birth to a child. So where's the question of it being girl or a boy? So by definition, God is uncreated. The question, who is the creator of God, is like I asking you a question. Your friend who's a man, he gave birth to a child, is it a girl or a boy? The question is illogical. Because by definition, a man cannot give birth to a child. So where's the question of girl or boy? So by definition, God is uncreated. Every created thing has a creator. God does not have a creator. Therefore, my argument with the atheist, I never ever said that everything has a creator. I said every created thing has a creator. But the God is uncreated. By definition, the moment I mention who is the creator of God, he is not God. All of the whole of my hand. Therefore, by definition, God is uncreated. Hope that's the question.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yes. Okay, so thank you for your empathetic listening about today's talk and some of those very short videos about the topic. And if you have any queries and questions about today's talk or the upcoming course sessions, you can contact with this official email of the Dawah Committee of Kowloon Masjid, and you can also reach me directly with this is my email and this contact. You can send comments. Yeah, and there is also one evaluation form with each handouts notes. So we would appreciate if you could just input your suggestions or queries inside.
There are two. One for last week. One for
After years, also for you. So there are two, and then you actually write the topic. There is a space in the session, the topic. So you choose among the topics. That is the list with you of the topics. Today's my topic is the fundamental beliefs in Islam, and last topic of Brother Raza was introduction to Islam. Am I right?
Yes, introduction.
The major title, and then there are subheadings.
Yes.
So just write the major topic. Today is fundamental beliefs in Islam, and the first session, the last session, was the
introduction
to Islam. So then separately, and you just do this, and then we will have a question answer session and just discussion about today's talk and just sharing. But first, do these simple kind of formalities, and you can also write down the contact if you want to have. Actually, the content of the questionnaire evaluation form is the same, but we just gave two just for two different sessions. And we apologize not for distributing it in the first session.
After death life.
The life after death. Yeah.
After death life. How do you think? If one people die and does his spirit get separated from his body, or or become a ghost, or become or to the hell or the paradise. So my question is,
On the day of judgment. Dr. Hakti is asking about, for example, after death, you know, the procedure.
Yes. I mean, when the people die, and how do you think he will become a ghost, or go to the hell, go to the paradise, or face a judgment?
He will not, face the judgment as a ghost, but he will face the judgment as a human being that he was created in this world. And then as a saint, he will be resurrected. And then he has to be accountable, or held answerable, what he has done in this life, but not as a ghost, with the same analogy that he has possesses in this world, not as a ghost. But that is something that, according to our Islamic belief, if someone is actually like a singer here, when he was resurrected from the grave, he will be in the same form, what he has been doing in this world, the same, but not convert into ghost.
So it seems like he's also asking, if a person dies,
Immediately after the death, what will be his form?
Oh,
That is what he is asking.
will the
No, he will be in the wheeled life. We believe
That is
it is
called
Alam
transit
al-Barzakh.
form.
We call it
Transit
as a wheeled life. That we don't know about that, what type of life they live. Okay? So they are neither the ghost nor nothing. They are not roaming here and there. No, we are not much bother about how is. But they are in the wheeled life. That means they are under the screen. Okay? Only their body go straight. Then after the resurrection, then everybody will come up and they have to.
Yeah. Maybe in a comparison with other religions.
Yeah.
For some of the, like maybe Chinese belief, especially in terms of the ancestor worship, right? In Islam, we don't believe that the dead people can affect anything that happens to us in this life. And in comparison, for example, but we actually believe that there's a different creatures that actually live parallel lives with us. That is the jinn. So sometimes maybe what we attribute to ghosts will probably be what we would in Islam call the jinn. We actually believe that there are other creatures that live in parallel lives with us. And for example, we believe in the angels, right? And the shaitan or the devils that affect our life in this earth, they're actually from the jinn. And actually, maybe if you are familiar with Christianity, Satan is not a fallen angel for us, but it's actually from the jinn, which are made of fire, as compared to the angels, which are made of light.
From like this.
Smokeless fire. So actually, for Islam, it is very similar to the Jews, the Christians, and the Muslims, but there is some difference in terms of our belief in some fundamental areas, like for example, is Jesus God? And for example, is Satan a fallen angel, or he is some other creature? So there are some differences.
So
Yeah.
does there exist a ghost world in your religion, or
a ghost world?
Ghost world.
There are jinn.
Yes.
There are jinn.
They're not ghosts.
They're
they're
good
not-
or bad?
Yeah.
They are actually also a creature apart from the human beings that is mentioned in the Quran. They're called jinn. Jinn.
Yeah, there is a-
They have a very, mighty powers that Allah has given to them. But they sometimes misuse the powers, then they can also go to the wrong way. And then those people who attain actually that level of power through some kind of meditation and practices, then they misuse that power. But they are good jinns and also the bad jinns, like the human beings. Because there is a verse there is a surah actually in the Quran that is called Suratul Nas. That's the last chapter of the Holy Quran that mentions Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Qul a'udhu bi rabbin nas. And the Muslims are taught to seek refuge from Allah, For what kind of thing? Kul a'udhu bi rabbin nas, malikin nas, ilahin nas, min sharril waswasil khannas, allazi yuwaswisu fi sudurin nas, minal jinnati wan nas. So these kind of these bad things that can be among the human beings, and also they can from the jinns as well. So they are good in the beds as well, but not that ghost kind of concept and those that the other people have superstitious kind of things. So,
Actually,
The concept of ghost is like human being transforming into ghost, but jinn is completely a separate entity from human being.
Separate creation.
Yeah.
Separate.
maybe we cannot see with our naked eyes.
But we
They-
can,
they're
yeah,
different
we can
world,
see,
They have
we
some
can
power,
experience, yeah.
but in Islam that you are not supposed to afraid of that creation as far as you have a strong faith in God. Because without His permission, nobody can. Even a human
Nothing
being
can harm you.
cannot harm you. Even a human being cannot harm you. That is a belief.
There is a concept.
There's a
In
very
that strong belief, then you need not afraid or fear on any other.
maybe if
Let
you have time.
Brother Mahmood supplement something. Yes.
There is a concept of ruh, that is in every human has a ruh, and maybe other creations also may have ruh. But
Ruh he doesn't know.
Ruh.
This-
Soul.
the
Soul.
So.
Yeah, about the ruh, this God has not given detailed knowledge about ruh. So, but when we die, pass away, the ruh is separate from our body. So, if we have done good things, the ruh will be given a good position, a place to live. And if we have done bad things, then the ruh will be given a bad place to live. And that is between the day of judgment and after the time after our death. That this period is called Hayat Barzakh. Barzakh is like a curtain.
Curtain life.
So it's living within the curtain. That is the period in the grave. So then when we will be resurrected on the day of judgment, then all of us together will be resurrected. Not like that I will be resurrected separately from others. Everyone will be resurrected at the same time. So there will be an assembly.
Actually, it's a barrier called barzakh. It's a curtain, it's a barrier actually between this life and that life. And then within that, like you are in a journey or travel, once you have a transit.
Transit, yeah.
It's actually a transit. And then you go to your destination. It's a transit form.
Transit life.
You know, there's
That's called
one sister. She converted to Islam. She's from Taiwan. Her name is Sophia Liu.
She came to Hong Kong.
Yeah, she came to Hong Kong and she had sharing with us. And actually, she used to be a medium. Medium. 以前她可以看到那个 yeah, and she used to be connected to the Buddhist temples. So actually, she came to become a Muslim because of her ability to see, and she knew that there's something else, but she didn't know what it was. And finally, when she was taking a master's degree or higher studies in the university, they were brought to a masjid, a mosque like this. And then she saw a jinn that was a Muslim. So, and then she said that actually I realized that I went to different places of worship. She went to Christian, she went to the Buddhist temple. Of course, she came from there. And then she also went to the masjid. And she said of all the places of worship, it was only the masjid that she could not see jinn in the different forms that she knew, because she said actually the jinn or the spirits, as we probably consider the ghost world, they like to consume smoke. So the most that they were in were actually in the temples where they have this
fire.
Shao. They like these things. So actually, in hindsight, our customs and traditions in olden times and until now, it is based on something, but we have put something else on it. we are told to burn, the paper money and so on. There's a reason, but we don't know. We thought it's this ghost world, but it's actually the jinn who are benefiting. So there is some logic to what the Chinese do, but it is in a different sense. It is not actually what we think it is, but it's something else.
It's not a superstitious kind of things, but it's a reality, and these creatures, they do exist. And Allah has mentioned this creature in the Quran, in the Holy Book, and with their special qualities. And there was the prophet, that's prophet called Solomon. Allah has given him this mighty power that he can communicate with the jinns, and all their jinns were under his command. Even the air, even the creature on the earth, he can give them the commands, they follow, they respond, and he have a very strong communication with them. So all the jinns, and then they ask them to construct the heavy or the very mighty buildings, but then they followed the orders of the Prophet Solomon. But that power was not even Prophet himself has this power itself, but Allah has gifted him this special power. We say, I have invented this, but who gave the knowledge to that person? Allah gave. So Allah actually is the real inventor. He is the creator. He is the Almighty. And all the other things actually is gifted by Allah to His creatures. It might be human beings, it might be jinns. And one thing more about the knowledge of Allah, the attributes of Allah, we have to keep three things in mind. Allah's all these attributes are itself. He doesn't get from somewhere. It's itself. Okay? And second thing is all that we have the powers, we have that's Allah gifted us, bestowed upon us by Allah. And the third and most important thing is that our knowledge, those powers are finite, limited. But Allah's knowledge, Allah's powers, they are infinite. Infinite. So keeping in view with these 3 points, then we can well understand the attributes and the qualities. Yes.
Yes, actually I have 2 questions. The first one I want to ask is, how can I, if you allow me to put it this way, to convince myself not to fall into this gap, say every day I can see the sunrise.
You can see what?
Sunrise.
Sunrise, okay.
If I cannot see it, I can sense the effect of sunrise. I feel warm. I feel the heat.
Okay.
And but at least myself cannot explain all the logical. How it works with the sunrise, how the solar goes up and down every day and every night. But it's really there.
Yes.
So how can I convince myself not to fall into this gap? To focusing on, or even sometimes argue with the others about this logic, like, why the sun goes up, why at this time, why it's there, and then somehow at the point that I would be arguing with the others that actually maybe there's no sunrise, maybe I just make it up, maybe my set is not logical. Because nowadays, I at least I find myself when I cannot explain something, I try to claim that it's not there. But the example I'm trying to make is, I don't know if any one of you can perfectly explain how the sun rises every day, or can you predict how the sun goes up at what moment? Tomorrow?
I think it's a very good observation. I think even as Muslims, even if we say we believe in Allah and we have this firm belief, but sometimes you end up also in doubt that is what I'm believing correct, or how do I strengthen my belief that I don't go into doubt, right? I think for every human being that is normal. There is sometimes in your life that, is there a creator? Maybe there's no creator. Maybe all things are by chance. It is normal. Even people who are born Muslims or reverse to Islam, everybody has that kind of moment. right? But actually the thing that's most important, I think, when you think about it is that, especially for us, I mean for me, I'm a revert to Islam. One of the things that I really liked about why I converted and really believed in it is because there's so many evidences in the Quran that actually are scientific, and maybe we'll go into that later, right?
There's
a session on that. So some of the things that is written in the Quran, there's no way that the Prophet ﷺ could have known about it, because he was just a shepherd and he had no knowledge of scientific theories and so on. And even they had a convention, a medical convention about it, discussing some of the aspects that were written in the Quran. And even there's some scientist that became a Muslim through that conference when he was doing the research.
Dr. Keith Moore, we've got many scientists.
Yes.
And just to cite some examples of the Quran, like for example, mountains act as pegs.
Yes, that is right. Pegs.
As
of the
pegs.
world.
And had there been no mountains in this world, the earth would be destabilized.
Yes.
The earth would
To maintain the equilibrium and the balance.
This was mentioned 14
It is in the Quran, but
yeah.
before that even I don't know.
Exactly.
See, we think that what is the need of a mountain? What is the need of a mountain?
And then there's another scientific miracle, which is the embryonic process, how embryos develop. And there's this process in which when the sperm and the egg, when they fertilize, and then it grows and it becomes like a leech-like substance, an alaka, right? And then from there, the bones develop, and then the flesh is put upon the bones. And this process is exactly the same as what scientists have discovered maybe a century ago. You see what I'm trying to say? So these scientific miracles. Now coming to the example that you posed, which was about the sun, how does Islam explain about this? Now I do have little knowledge on this. I do not have a complete knowledge about this, but the Quran does mention how they follow an orbit. Like it has this fixed moment of time which it follows, and there's much more information. I'm sure the speaker on the scientific miracles will elaborate on this. And coming to the point of doubts. There are doubts at times, but we know that as Muslims that Satan, how do you say that in Chinese? He will always have evil whispers within us to make us doubt that there is God above there, because he knows that his judgment, his fate is done. He's going to go elsewhere.
I think I wasn't too clear what I was asking about. I mentioned the word convince. Convince means, I'm not sure if when I'm convinced it has to be some scientific evidence. Another example, like the sun. The sun is broad, the sun is bright, the sun is strong, for example. And I think maybe some time ago I read something like the sunlight is very strong, so strong that you cannot look directly at the sun. Otherwise, it hurts your eyes. It hurts your eyesight. You go blind immediately. Then, okay, if you don't believe it, maybe I read a book saying don't look into the sun again directly like this. It harms the eye. If you don't believe it, you try it, you look directly to the sun until you get blind.
Yes.
Then you lose your eyesight, then you believe it.
Yes.
So is it the way that we human being, or I human being, has to be convinced in this way? Until I get blind and I'm convinced that you are strong.
No.
It's the other step that you believe we are humans actually be looking directly into the sun.
Okay.
But different people have different process. Some people just they hear and they believe. That's a samina wa atana in Quran.